As we explored in a previous video discussing the localization of Suikoden 5, Lucretia and Laylee's relationship in that game is heavily implied to be, romantic in the localized version, but that is entirely made up by said localizers, and they even threw in Cathari for good measure. However, this is far from the only time the localized games took a turn for the slightly sultry. Sometimes the localizers like to add a bit of spice or humor to the text, most of it entirely deliberate. Though as we'll see soon enough, sometimes they just have their heads in the gutter, and on other occasions they go the complete opposite way and tone it down for the localization. So without further ado, let's get dirty. If you head over to the Winger district in Two River and go into this house and examine this bookcase, you won't find anything particular interesting in the remaster. However, if you're playing the original localization, that changes, because there, you'll instead find someone's collection of gentlemen's special interest literature. Though the thing is, they're not supposed to be. In Japanese, they're just picture books, though I suppose that type of magazine might count as a kind of picture book? Maybe? For some reason, when the translator read Ihan, he thought it said Irohan. And yeah, I guess we know where his mind went. Unfortunately, this was fixed for the remaster, so you don't need to avert your eyes. Pulling a bit of a reverse card from the book situation, Richmond's investigation into Nina was made somewhat more suitable for all ages in the original localization, though it wasn't that spicy to begin with. The original version just has Richmond report that she's a bit of fireplug but doesn't expand on why. In Japanese, he says he's seen a couple of guys try to cop a feel, and she promptly stomped on their feet in response. Just a guess, but this was probably originally changed because of her age, so it's a bit surprising it was fixed for the remaster. One significant way the localization of Suikoden 3 changed the script was by adding a lot of jokes to the text that aren't there in the original. In particular, the localizers like to add innuendo. While this is peppered throughout the game, it is most noticeable in the all-female village of Alma, Kinan, where a lot of the villagers say pretty weird stuff. For example, when recruiting Estella, she tasks you with finding the non-existent all-male counterpart to the village. The NPC you ask about it gets really interested upon hearing it's supposedly male-only. In Japanese, she just says she's never heard of it. The girl in the inn tells you that the duck villager currently staying there sometimes helps her out, if you know what I mean. In Japanese, all she said was that he helps her with her chores sometimes. And the woman tending to her wounded horse gets excited because once it heals, they'll be able to go on a romantic walk together. With the horse. Originally, she was happy they'd be able to go hunting again. In the original translation of Suikoden 2, when you threw the dice out of the bowl in Chinchiroren, the game would proclaim it was a piss. Most people assumed this was some sort of typo and was meant to say miss, but it's actually correct, as this is the technical term for missing the bowl in Chinchiroren. It's the original one and the remasters that changed it to avoid having to say the word. In Japanese, it's called shanben, which means exactly that. And as you can see in this screenshot from the PSP game Taisen Chinchiroren, it's the term used there as well. Yes, you heard that right. Someone made a game entirely about Chinchiroren. And while we're on the topic of Chinchiroren, if you speak to Shilo in Suikoden 2 before you meet the requirements to recruit him, he'll first tell you he doesn't play with brats. If you speak to him a second time, he'll tell you to run home and suck on your mama's teats. This happens in both the original and remaster localizations, though in the remaster they misspelled teat for some reason, and he doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do with them either. This is actually a callback to the original Suikoden, where when you first meet Tai-Ho in the Japanese version, he'll tell you to run home and suck on your mama's breast if you decline his bet. But in both localizations of the first game, they remove the funny part and just have him tell you to run home to your mommy. All of which leads me to believe that if they ever do remaster Suikoden 5, it's going to be revealed that the code for playing against Jean in Blind Man's Bluff was mysteriously lost after accidentally being doused in gasoline and set on fire 5 times.